dialogue is actually occurring amidst the Biden administration's diversion in two major wars. They're trying to manage the crisis in Gaza and the war in Ukraine. And despite the fact that Secretary Blinken and Secretary Austin are deeply involved in managing both those crises, they made the time to go to Delhi for the 2+2. So that fact signals India's importance in the U.S. Indo-Pacific strategy. And it's a point that must not be lost sight of.
If this closer U.S. cooperation with India is about offsetting an increasingly assertive China militarily in the Indo-Pacific, then isn't this going to sit not particularly well with President Biden's meeting with Xi Jinping at APEC? And by that standard, isn't the timing problematic, Ashley?
I don't think so. I think the administration has made the decision that it will compete as vigorously as required, while trying to build the guardrails of some modicum of cooperation with China. And I think this is evidence, actually, of the intention to do both, to pursue both objectives simultaneously. And I think it's the sound strategy. We cannot forget that we do have a competition with China, which is not going away. And India is an integral part of that competition. But we also need to stabilize our own bilateral relations with China. And I think President Biden is going to attempt to do that as best he can in San Francisco.
Ashley, this is Christine. How robust is U.S.-India relationship? And there's a lot of talk whether does India want to be an ally of the U.S. and does it ever want to be?
So that's a complicated question in many ways, because the U.S. and India have differences on a variety of issues, including actually on China. But both sides recognize that they have a common problem, that China's assertiveness threatens both their interests. And at least on the key question of pushing back against Chinese assertiveness in the Indo-Pacific, I don't think there's very much daylight between Washington and New Delhi. So even though India will never become an ally of the United States, there is enough common interest in ensuring that we can partner together and that we can do things together. And so I think the administration is conscious of India's ambitions, the limitations of this partnership, but still sees enough room for very fertile cooperation. And that's what they are attempting to invest in.
This meeting with Blinken and Modi comes ahead, of course, of Biden's meeting with China's President Xi next week. What sort of signal do you think it will send out?
I think it enables the president to actually bargain more effectively with Xi if he has a variety of Asian allies supporting him. I don't think he wants to go into that meeting with Xi alone. All the Asian allies, in a sense, are silently present in that meeting. And I think it is really the best way to negotiate with China to begin with.